If you're watching this video, odds are you have been kept very up to date on the majority of the Fantastic Four casting news. Now, this has been a hot button topic for the MCU as a whole, for the multiverse saga, pretty much since 2019's San Diego Comic-Con, when Kevin Feige stood up on the stage and said, we didn't have time to talk about Fantastic Four, the mutants, and many other projects, which now we're pretty much excited and waiting for. However, the Fantastic Four has continued to be one of the hot button topics of the MCU, as fan casting, regular casting, and the casting process for this movie has dominated the MCU's headlines. Well, for a while there, we thought we had the finalized cast, and the rumors really did hold strong that Adam Driver would be Mr. Fantastic, Margot Robbie would be Sue Storm, that Paul Mescal was going to play Johnny Storm, and that Daveed Diggs was going to be The Thing. However, now it seems like this report isn't as solid as it initially seemed, and not because it wasn't true, but because things have changed. So I'm going to call this, there's still hope for a better Fantastic Four, because those of you who are fans of the channel know that I did not love the casting for the Fantastic Four that was being reported. Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to Cosmic Culture, the channel where we talk all things major movie and television news, theories, breakdowns, and much, much more. I, of course, am your host, Chris, and we're going to jump into this Fantastic Four revitalization news and update in just a second, but I wanted to remind you guys that we are now doing multiple live podcast streams a week on Twitch. I know not everybody loves Twitch or is on Twitch, but we're having a really good time over there as a community. Many people from the old streams we used to do here have already jumped over, and I want to extend that invitation again to y'all. So if you would like to jump over and follow us, we are going to have a live stream today at about 5 o'clock Eastern time, featuring the Cosmic Wonder and a couple other guest stars. We will be discussing Secret Invasion Episode 2, the future, and some other MCU news. So be sure to click the link in the description or in the comment section down below, drop a follow and hang out with us, and be there for other fun lives, watch parties, etc. Okay, Fantastic Four. I want to start with my opinion first, because I usually save that till the end, and I'm sure most of you guys have clicked away from the video by that point. I am very happy that we have reopened the discussion for the Fantastic Four. I did not love the rumored idea that Adam Driver and Margot Robbie were going to be our Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic. I didn't love that casting. Now, that's not to say I don't love Adam Driver or I don't appreciate Margot Robbie and everything that she's been able to accomplish as an actress. I just didn't see the casting. Now, again, this is my personal opinion. I am not a professional casting agent. I don't work for Marvel. I'm sure that they were going to turn them into something fantastic. And if they end up being our Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic after all, I will more than happily and willingly give them an opportunity to prove me wrong. But as I currently sit in this chair, talking into this microphone, I don't love the idea. But San Diego Comic-Con, the event that Marvel goes to and makes all of this groundbreaking news, well, Marvel's not going this year. They've decided that they aren't going to show up to Hall H. Now, we might get a couple trailers released, and I'm still pretty certain that Loki or Echo, or maybe both, will have a trailer released during some type of panel or event for Marvel, but Hall H isn't happening. Now, there's a number of reasons for this, some being the writer strike, the actor strike, the overall disorganization and confusing current setup for Marvel's phases 5 and 6 that they are still trying to probably reorganize, since they have gone back to the drawing board. We've already heard major delays for Avengers Kang Dynasty, for Avengers Secret Wars, and for a lot of other projects as well. In fact, the only project that got pushed closer to us with Deadpool 3, which I'm also very excited about. But with that being said, there are big question marks around where Marvel is as a phase right now, and they have revisited the drawing board. Also, to throw on top of that, we have all of the Kang trouble, which, you know, Jonathan Majors is currently on trial for a potential and alleged domestic abuse case, although from what the evidence shows, he'll probably not end up actually being guilty of that, which will be great for the MCU because he is a fantastic Kang. But let's talk again about the Fantastic Four. It seems like part of the reason why Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios have pulled out of their position in Hall H very well could be because the biggest announcement they were going to make, the cast of the Fantastic Four, is no longer solidified. In fact, some of the exact same insiders who were saying, this is our Fantastic Four, namely My Time to Shine Hello, who has an amazing track record, if you're familiar with what they are constantly putting on Twitter, who at one point said, hashtag Fantastic Four, and added a picture of the four who we've spoken about: Adam Driver, Margot Robbie, Paul Mescal, and Daveed Diggs. Well, today they're putting up who is Mr. Fantastic. This is all changed. The narrative has changed. Now, part of the reason why we're hearing this is because of budget. These are very big name actors for the most part, especially Adam Driver and Margot Robbie. Margot Robbie is probably one of the most discussed actors right now, having had her face on a ton of projects. They are not going to want small contracts to have their name on the Fantastic Four project. So we're hearing that Marvel maybe doesn't want to shell out all that money for one team, for one movie, even though the odds are it's going to be a very successful film. But that means they might have gone back to the drawing board. Negotiations happened on how much money Adam or Margot want, and they said, you know what, let's relook at this and let's see if maybe somebody else could be the Fantastic Four. It's also possible that they've heard the early reports, although I know I protest the idea of the Fantastic Four being these characters, or these actors rather. I know I'm not the only one. Several people have said, well, this doesn't look good, and Marvel definitely listens to what fans say and how they react. So with all of this news, it seems like the Fantastic Four are being reconsidered. Now, that's not to say that maybe these four won't still go on and be the characters, but there is hope. At least I'll call it hope, because you guys might like this casting. But there is hope from my perspective that we might get a new Fantastic Four cast that aren't all of the characters who have been reported so far in the names Adam Driver, Margot Robbie, Paul Mescal, and Daveed Diggs. Now, some of them might show up, all of them might show up, none of them might show up. That's a big part of using insiders, and it's not really speculating because there is some form of evidence based off of how much these insiders have gotten right in the past. They very clearly do have some types of sources, but everything must be taken with a grain of salt. So this little tangent is more to inform you guys who haven't heard from other sources that the Fantastic Four casting is still on the table for anybody. Nothing has been 100% solidified, and although that was always the case, it's even more so the case now, because those same insiders who are saying, done deal, these guys have signed, they're on, are now saying, well, maybe not as much as we thought. Now, I'm excited to hear about more casting options. We've also heard about maybe some castings for Galactus from Antonio Banderas, and there's a lot of heavy rumors about that as well. All in all, one thing is for sure, I'm very excited for the Fantastic Four and the mutants to get their footing in the MCU. I'm curious to see how each group individually does it, since the Fantastic Four will be appearing a little bit earlier in Phase 6, which will be a part of Secret Wars and all of that awesome stuff. The multiverse is going to open up for X-Men characters who we've met and we're familiar with, but we've also had it reported that the mutants will not be making their debut in the MCU as MCU-specific characters until after Secret Wars ends. So I'm very excited for that storyline as well. But let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comments section down below. Don't forget to check out the link to Twitch so you can join us for our live. It's possible that it's going on right now, but it will be starting at about 5 p.m. Eastern time. So if you want to hear what I and Warren and several other guest stars are saying about Secret Invasion and other Marvel news, feel free to check that out and drop a follow. Thank you guys so much. I'll catch you in the next one right here on Cosmic Culture.